Welcome everyone again to today's virtual information session, Pathway to Your Postgrad. My name is Grace Fox. I'm a marketing executive here at ATU, and today I am joined by staff from the Online Flexible and Professional Development team, also referred to as OFPD in case you hear us mentioning it. So we have Eamon Walsh, Head of Faculty Support, and we have Gilligan, Head of Business Development and Online Learning. So before we kick off today, just a little bit of housekeeping. So today's session will be recorded, and tomorrow you'll actually receive a link to this recordings for you to watch back. And also we have disabled the chat box for this session, but we do have a Q&A box open. So you're very welcome to ask any questions throughout. We'll try answer them as best we can during the session, but Eamon and Jean may get a chance to answer some at the very end. And if there is anyone we can signpost you to who might be best able to answer it, we can do that as well. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Eamon.
Okay, lovely. I just clicked that into slideshow mode there. Are you seeing that now, or will I just continue on the screen here? I might just carry on here.
Yeah, I think just continue on the screen.
Okay, great. So let me just go forward to the next slide here, if I may. Yeah. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eamon Walsh. Thanks, Grace, for the introduction. Just to go through our postgrad offerings today. As you can see at Atlantic Technological University, we have quite a lot of programs, about 119 master's offerings in total. And as you probably know, Atlantic Technological University runs all the way from Galway through Mayo, Sligo, on up to Donegal in the northwest. So we've offerings at various campuses. We also have quite a few online courses and blended courses, which may have a mixture of some online classes and some on-campus activities. And then we have a smaller number of fully on-campus programs, if you like. As you can see there in the middle in the little pie chart, we're covering a lot of disciplines right through from science and health to engineering and technology, education, design and humanities, and to business. And in terms of the number of students that are registered as of March 2024, you can see that figure over on your right-hand side there, just over 1,500 students or so at the present time. So we've got something for everyone there. I think we're covering a lot of discipline areas, as I said. So in terms of the benefits of a postgraduate degree for yourselves, certainly there are a number of benefits. You get to specialize, within your own discipline, to be able to, dive deeper, build on your undergraduate degree and your experience in the workplace or other life experiences, and be able to specialize further in whatever is your chosen discipline area. This will give you a competitive edge in your workplace, first and foremost, and very much then in the employer market. So the employment market, as you know, is very buoyant out there. There's a real focus on specializations in certain areas. So there's a big demand for people to be able to improve their skills, enhance their skills, increase their knowledge, and broaden their knowledge. We at ATU are providing courses in, as I said, lots of disciplines to be able to provide those types of opportunities for you. And this is all part of lifelong learning, if you like. So we very much live in an era now of lifelong learning where, you're constantly upgrading your skills and learning more stuff, if you like. And we're able to provide accredited opportunities to be able to do that. And we'll talk more about those and give you some examples of those as we go through the presentation. In terms of where this fits on the national framework of qualifications, and we have something for everyone, right from level 6, which is the certificate level, if you like, level 7 or ordinary degrees, level 8 honors degrees, level 9 postgraduate offerings, including masters, and level 10 PhDs, and then lots of ways of accessing our courses and making a start, and lots of ways of being able to exit from that as well. So you can come in and out of the various stages of education right through your career. So we offer honors degrees, postgraduate certificates, postgraduate diplomas, and master's degrees. I'll explain the differences there in just a second. And you'll also see on this slide that recognition of your professional experience. So we offer something called RPL at ATU, which will allow you to gain entry to programs that you might not ordinarily be able to get entry to based on your previous qualifications plus your work experience. And so you we can recognize that experience, and we can also recognize other courses that you may have done, or be they small pieces of learning or larger courses, and recognize those and include those as part of the assessment for entry onto our programs. So again, lots of entry and exit points into our programs at ATU. In terms of that idea of building up your qualification, so you can build up to a master's degree as well, and this is something I think that gives a lot of flexibility to students and applicants. So if you're not ready to commit to a full master's degree, what you'll find is that there are lots of offerings that might be smaller pieces of learning and shorter pieces of learning. Things like what we can now are starting to call micro credentials. So these might be, if a master's degree on the right hand side there is the full award, maybe 90 credits or more than that. It would typically be at least 90, but could be 120 credits. That's credits on the ECTS, the credit transfer system. But we also offer, as part of that master's, a postgraduate diploma, which would be 60 credits, and a postgraduate certificate, which would be 30 credits. And then that's made up of individual modules, some of which might be packaged as micro-credentials. So as you take each of these awards, you can decide that's enough for me and take the award, and that will be you for now. Or you can come back and then complete the next step, if you like, to, for example, you might get the postgraduate diploma in a particular discipline and then come back and do perhaps a thesis or the research project, which is the final 30 or 60 credits to gain your master's degree. That's very common across all our master's degrees. So you can take a look at that and watch out for those options on our web pages. Okay. In terms of study options, so again, we're trying to be flexible. We're recognizing that people have very busy lives now, both work lives and personal lives. So the study options are there and designed to be able to work around you. So you can find not only the right course for you, but also the right study mode. So going left to right here, we have fully online courses that are remote via online learning platform. Pretty much all of the lectures in that case would be recorded. So if you don't get to see them when they've been made live, if you like, or there may be a live lecture, if you like, that you could attend, but that lecture will, generally speaking, be recorded and available for you to view back later. So if you miss it, you're able to catch up. Real benefits here around the flexibility, so you can complete at your own pace and in your own place, if you like. So it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you have access to the internet and a computing device, then you'll be able to participate. And also then we have some, as I mentioned at the start, on-campus courses that are fully on campus. And this is very different, obviously in-class lectures with maybe practical workshops and tutorials. That's different. I mean, the benefit there is face-to-face interaction, and you're gaining a more immersive experience and an on-campus experience, if you like. And then over on the right-hand side, you're moving into the blended or the hybrid model, which is a mixture of the two. And we have all sorts of varieties there, if you like. So I know of many courses that might be 80% online with maybe 20% on campus. So you may be on campus. The requirement there might be once a month or in a workshop type activity once per semester. So again, it's flexible and opportunities to, but with opportunities to engage face to face or to come onto campus from time to time. So again, watch out for those. We have offerings in all of those study modes, if you like. In terms of delivery mode, we have part-time and full-time offerings. So the part-time very much lends itself to helping you with your work-study balance. You're continuing to work, so you're earning as you're learning. Gives you a lot of flexibility to manage your workload and learn in real time. Obviously, the full-time then is very much you're stepping away from your workplace to participate full-time in the university. That's a very immersive experience. It'll be typically faster course completion, 1 year or less, depending on the size of the program that you're undertaking. Greater access to resources, obviously, and so if you have that ability to be able to do that, then obviously that's great. But many people are taking courses part-time or online or blended. In terms of the considerations for yourself when choosing a course or coming back to learning or participating in lifelong learning, it's about looking at your own stage, if you like, in your career and in your work. Do you need to upskill in a particular sector or discipline? Perhaps you're upskilling in a very technical skill, or maybe you're adding a management skill onto your portfolio, if you like. Am I up to date with all the latest technological developments? Is there an opportunity for career progression here? The motivation side is important. You got to really kind of enjoy it and want to do it. That's really important, and also have the time to be able to do it. Albeit online learning is fine and the flexibility is great, but you still need to devote the time to be able to take those classes and watch those recordings and participate in the assessments. So that's important considerations. And I'll just move on now to the next slide. Sorry. Okay, yeah, there you go. So now we're going to move over to the a flavor, if you like, or a summary of the different offerings that we have, and I'll hand over to Jean in a second. But maybe just before that, I'll mention two programs that are just brand new for September 2025, so open for applications now on our website. And the Master of Science in Digital Professional Accounting, which is a full-time blended 1-year program. Great to see this coming out of the accounting team there at HU Galway. It's got a lot of some mandatory modules there in around business analytics for accounting, strategic business, leadership and reporting, with then specializations, if you like, or electives that you can choose to specialize in areas of sustainability, financial management, or taxation. So very flexible there. Very similarly, then the Master of Science in Business Analytics. That's a full-time on-campus 1-year program, building on a lot of expertise in business analytics. Again, at the Galway campus, modules there, quantitative methods, AI and emerging technologies, IT strategy and governance, and there's a nice applied project as part of that. We have new master's degrees coming on stream all the time. If you'd like to register your interest and hear about new masters, then just go to atu.ie/masters and you can sign up there to get more information. So at this stage now, I'm going to hand over to Jean, who's going to take you through some more examples of lots of courses across the disciplines.
Lovely. I've just asked to take control, if that's okay, Grace.
Yep, give them the shoulder.
Lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to build on some of the slides that Eamon talked about and some of the information that he's already given you. And you can see, you can get a flavour already that like there was 119 masters referenced there, and they're the full masters programs. But we have actually other options to get that master's. So it isn't a case that you're always going to have to sign up for the full master's program. Eamon talked to you there about certs and postgrad diplomas and masters. So you can build on awards to get your master's if it's something that you don't want to take on and sign up for a full 2-year master's straight away. So there's lots of options, but on these slides, we just give you the titles of some of these programs and not necessarily the option of whether there's a cert or postgrad diploma or full master's, but that information is available on our website as well. So there are definitely programs there that you can do and kind of break them down into smaller chunks and not have to commit to such a large, level of time. Maybe it's difficult to start and commit to 2 years. So just adding to, I suppose, what Eamon has talked about already, that there's different offerings, there's different ways to study. You can study online, blended, but in this section, we're just going to go through the topics because as ATU now, we have 9 campuses. So as you can imagine, the amount of programs, the different sectors, all of the different areas has expanded greatly over the last number of years. So we do, as Eamon said, have something for everybody there. We do have, areas covered that as individual colleges we wouldn't have covered previously. So I'm based in Sligo, we wouldn't have had nursing, but now with St Angela's on site with us as well, they were previously aligned to University of Galway. We have lots of nursing offerings because they would have been offered in Galway and Mayo and St Angela's as well. So just starting off, Eamon mentioned new programs. We have new programs coming on stream all the time, and that's based really on skills needs, skills shortages. We're talking to industry all of the time about their wants and needs and where they need people and the type of roles that they have to fill, and we're designing programs to meet those skills and needs. So they're all in very relevant sectors and they're all in areas where we know there's a need for these people. So we're always developing new programs to meet those skills needs. So in the area of business, I'm going to cover quite a few different areas and sectors and industries, but in the area of business, Eamon already mentioned the 2 new ones, which are business analytics and the digital professional accounting. And I know we attend a lot of events, and accounting is definitely one of the areas that we are asked about all the time, and how people can progress their careers, professional development, and move on to a higher qualification. But accounting is one of those areas that we're asked about frequently. Business analytics is really becoming to the forefront with a lot of companies because there's an awful lot of data being generated now that may not have been generated in the past, and it's what to do with that to get meaningful information from that. So business analytics is really important. So we have other accounting programs, we have marketing programs, digital business, governance and IT and financial services, innovations in fintech, business management, leadership and innovation in the public sector, human resource management, professional leadership, strategic people management, strategic entrepreneurship and innovation, and sustainability leadership and sustainable tourism and event management. So you can see there's a wide variety of programs there in the business area. On our web pages, you will find out additional information. So you'll find out the exact modules that are contained within each of these programs. You'll be able to find out about the fees, and I'll talk a little bit later about the different opportunities there are with regards to fees, but that information is also contained on the web pages, and you'll find out then if they are actually online programs, blended programs, if there's a requirement to come on site as part of that as well. So they're some of the programs that we deliver in the area of business masters level, and as I said, straight away I see programs there that we have certs, higher diplomas in, as well as the full masters. So there is ways that you can break them down and not necessarily commit to the full masters. In the area of design and humanities, you'll see at the bottom of these slides, you'll see the new programs that are coming on stream. So there's one in documentary, digital media design, creative media technologies, and wood manufacturing, and more. So they're new programs that we know are coming on stream in the areas of design and humanities. But for design, we've got creative practice, that's in Galway City and in Sligo, and we've got user experience design and applied innovation as well. And in humanities, we've got leadership and advocacy in early years, social care, social justice, social work, transformative practices in equality, diversity and inclusion. And there are other programs. I know we're talking today specifically about postgrad and level 9s, but we do have other programs at level 8 or level 7 that are leaders into these programs as well. So if you're not sure you meet the entry requirements for these at level 9, we may have another avenue for you. And I know Eamon also mentioned RPL, but there may be other avenues for you that you may be able to do something to build on your qualifications and to progress into the Level 9 programme. In the area of education, so St Angela's, as I mentioned, also based in Sligo, was previously aligned to University of Galway, have been teaching educational programmes for, God, I'm sure over 70 years. My mom is 83 and she went there as a student over 60 years ago. So it has to be at least 70 years teaching educational programs. So they have been teaching programs in contemporary innovations in education, home economics, nutrition and health promotion. We also have some other programs based on other campuses like the outdoor education, sustainability and well-being, professional studies in special education needs, special education and special education with different disciplines like the autism and learning difficulties, teaching and learning and universal design for learning. The teaching and learning programs have become hugely popular, and even internally within ATU itself, a lot of staff do those teaching and learning programs and can build towards masters. But coming soon, we have a new course in education practice as well. So we would have a lot of people who would have studied many years ago, got their qualifications in education to become a teacher, but then they're looking for avenues to upskill that and to see what other kind of professional development courses that they can take. And we would also have people who are moved into maybe an educational role and don't have an educational qualification, and they also want to gain those educational qualifications. So we have a variety of programs in the area of education. Engineering is a huge discipline. We have, civil engineering, we have programs in the quality area, we've got manufacturing, so and depending on campus, some computing sometimes falls in under engineering. So we have a variety of different kind of areas covered by the title engineering, and some of those programs that we would have would be automation, digital manufacturing, BIM, the building information modeling and digital leadership, built environmental regulations, circular economy for leadership for the built environment, connected and autonomous vehicles, engineering management, geotechnical structural engineering, project management, quality and road and transport engineering. So you can see there's a kind of a variety of areas covered. Within the area of quality, we would have programs like black belt programs, but we have going from the start, we have white belt, which are free, yellow belt, green belt, black belt. So there are progression pathways for these programs as well to get to that level 9 area. And I suppose it depends on your role. You may have a specific discipline that you want to upskill to get more information on, or it may be a case that you want to move into a role. And we go to a lot of Jobs Expo events, educational events in companies, and people will come to us and they'll say, I have a qualification in this, but I'd like to get a role in the quality department, for example. What kind of programs can you provide? So they might have a degree in engineering or in science, in something completely different, but they might want to do the quality masters to get into a quality role, and we can facilitate that to help them progress their career, because they'll be working in companies where they see other roles that they might be interested in and might be wondering how they can upskill to get into those roles. In the area of computing, and this is constantly changing, constantly evolving. You saw on the last slide we talked about the automative, what's the name of the connected and autonomous vehicles, apologies. So, there's a lot of computing as part of that. So we have a variety of different programs, and it's constantly evolving, and AI is really important now. And we have new programs coming in, applied AI applications as well in the area of computing. Again, we found historically, going back, a lot of people maybe had basic computing qualifications, got into roles, and progressed within those roles without necessarily progressing their qualifications. So we have a lot of people with quite senior roles and not necessarily master's qualifications who are coming back to us now to gain those qualifications. So we have blockchain technologies and applications, computing and big data analytics. So you can see data and data analytics is coming through in a number of areas, such as the business area as well. Computing and data, big data analytics and artificial intelligence, computing and cloud technologies, cybersecurity, DevOps, cyber psychology, data science and supply chain analytics. So there are quite a few computing programs. They're delivered across different campuses. And again, if you look at our web pages, you'll see whether they're fully online or whether there is a blended content to them. In the area of life science, again, science, you know, we talked about engineering and covering civil quality. Science is the same. So we have the life science, we have environmental science, we have health sciences, we have a whole range of science programs. We work in ATU with NIBRT, which is the National Institute for Bioprocessing Research and Training. They have a facility just on the UCD campus. It's purpose-built for training and research, and it's a fantastic facility to have an opportunity to be able to use and avail of. So people who do our biopharma programs can get access to that for maybe 1 or 2 days a semester to do some practical work on site. And a huge number of companies, biopharma companies coming to Ireland, would carry out all of their training within NIBRT and the NIBRT facility. So again, that whole area of biopharma is constantly evolving, changing. COVID showed us that, how quickly we were able to develop vaccines to react to that. So we have ATMP seems to be the kind of the new area that there's a lot of programs, a lot of roles being developed in, and therefore a lot of programs being developed in. And ATMP stands for Advanced Therapy Medicinal Products. So we have ATMP for cell manufacturing, for technology and manufacture, for vector manufacturing, bioindustry 4.0, bioinformatics, biopharmaceutical manufacturing, biopharmaceutical processing, biopharmaceutical science. There are different modules. There will be some crossover, but there are different modules. So I suppose depending on what your area of interest is or your role, you might pick biopharma science over biopharma processing. Commissioning, qualification and validation for biologics manufacture. We have a lot of people with engineering backgrounds coming in to do that program. Entrepreneurship and medtech, industrial pharmaceutical science is also referred to as MIPS. So anybody who wants to become a QP, qualified person in a manufacturing facility, which will essentially mean that they're signing off batch product for release to the market, has to have that QP qualification. There are only ourselves, College of Surgeons and Trinity, that provide that program. We are the cheapest of the three, I should mention, and it has a waiting list every year. It fills really quickly. So if somebody is interested in doing that MIPS program, I would say apply now and don't leave it, because we have a limited number of places available on it and it fills really quickly. International Medicinal Technologies and Development, Medical Science, Medical Technologies and Reg Affairs, Validation and Digitalization Technologies, and we have a new course in Science Communication coming soon. So there are some programs, I've mentioned it there for the MIPS, that do have capacity limits on them. So if there is something that you are interested in, I would say apply sooner rather than later, because you may be disappointed. There were programs previously that used to be funded by Springboard that would allow for a January start, but that has actually changed. We're no longer having a January start for those programs, but there may be other programs that we have January starts for. My slides seem to have gone very funny, but I'm not sure where that's gone. But anyway, we'll go to the funding opportunities. Can you see, Grace, why that's gone funny?
Sorry, Jean.
Yeah, it seems to have moved from life science. It seems to have disappeared on me. I see computing engineering.
Oh, there they go. I don't know why they disappeared. Sorry about that. That could have been me.
Okay. That's all right. Thank you. I wasn't sure where they went, Grace. I knew we have other areas in science, so we couldn't have just gone missing from life science to straight into funding opportunities. So in the area of environmental science, what was probably RTC Sligo at the time was the first college in Ireland to do a degree in environmental science. So they would be seen as a leader in the area of environmental science. And there would be quite a strong marine focus, would say, in Galway. So we have a number of programs in the area of environmental science, applied marine conservation, conservation behaviour, environmental health and safety management, environmental protection and water services management. Again, some of those programs have capacity limits on them, so it would be important that you'd apply early. There are programs there that we have some workshops for, that we would have guest lecturers coming in, and we would work with like LAS NTG, which is the local authority for some of those programs as well. So they would have employees on those programs and they would do guest lectures and be very interested, I suppose, in the content of that program as well. Nursing and health. So I mentioned a little while ago about the fact that we have linked with St Angela's, and St Angela's would have a huge number of nursing programs, and we would have a lot of nurses who are working and wish to upskill and continue their professional development. And there's a variety of programs in the area to kind of meet their needs. So whether that be gerontology, whether it be health promotion practice, we have professional nursing, we have palliative and end-of-life care. So there's some very specific areas if people want to focus on a particular area of our skills need. So we have advancing health and social care, we have applied health and wellness coaching, applied leadership and management in healthcare, applied leadership and management in social care, applied leadership and management in the public sector, clinical measurement physiology, cognitive behaviour, psychotherapy, community mental health nursing, gerontology, health promotion practice, healthcare innovation and technology, international healthcare management, nursing studies, palliative and end-of-life care, professional healthcare studies, professional nursing, quality and safety in healthcare, quality and safety in social care, and therapeutic interventions for alcohol and other drugs. So you can see there are some very specialised areas in that, and we would have people come to us directly for that because of the role that they're in. Sports, exercise and nutrition, again, something that's constantly evolving, changing, delivered across multiple campuses within ATU. We have programs in these kind of areas. So we have applied sport and exercise nutrition, food and nutrition product development, digital innovation for sport, food innovation, food reg affairs, nutrition and food sensory science, public health nutrition, sport and clinical biomechanics, sports performance practice, sports and exercise nutrition, strength and conditioning, and sustainable food systems. And coming soon, we have a new master's in clinical nutrition and dietetics. So again, progression pathways, maybe for some of our full-time students, might be doing human nutrition, or we've health and physiology programs and sports science programs. So if there are any students maybe that are already in some of those existing programs, there are progression pathways for you. And they may be online or blended. You may be an opportunity to be working and continue your studies as well. So to talk a little bit about fees and funding, probably the important bit for some of you. There are a variety of different options, and I'm going to go through them. Not every option is available for every program, so there are some specifics. Again, that information is going to be available on the website. So for self-funding, for anyone who's self-funding grants, we have the Student Universal Support Ireland grant scheme, a fee contribution up to 4,000 and a fee grant up to 6,270. We have the SUSI part-time courses. Again, it's specific to the program, so you would need to make sure that your program is covered by SUSI. Back to education allowance as well. So that's relevant for programs like our ICT conversion programs. Student assistance funds. So within the university itself, there's a students assistance fund that you can approach, and student support fund. But I suppose it is important when you're considering, self-funding yourself on a course, are there options for me? So are there payment plans to pay in installments? So we would have that opportunity for people. It's also important to note that your fees are tax, you're able to claim your tax back on those as well. And you'll find out more information on that on the website. Does my employer have a training fund to support my studies? We would have a lot of students on our online programs who are funded by employers. There are different timelines, so maybe you should approach your employer to see what the timelines for them to have their budgets in with regards to training and upskilling. But a lot of our online students would be in employment and would be employer funded. Am I eligible for any scholarships at the university I'd like to study at? So if there are scholarships available, again, they're on the web pages for those programs. There's lots of specific details for those programs on the web pages for them. And is the university I'm interested considered an approved institute by revenue to claim tax relief? So absolutely, ATU is an approved institute. For anyone who was a student of what was RTC, Letterkenny, IT, LYIT, now ATU, the same for Sligo, RTC Sligo, IT Sligo, GMIT, RTC Galway, any of the legacy colleges, and now ATU. If anyone has completed their full level A program with us and want to go on to a master's program, it has to be the master's program. We've talked about breakdowns and doing one-year certs or postgrad diplomas. The discount, the 20% reduction on fees is available for alumni on full master's program. So when applying to a full master's program, so if you're just finished your level 8 and you want to do your level 9, you have a look at the terms and conditions on the website, but there is a 20% reduction available for alumni network members to progress onto the courses. And it doesn't matter if, like me, you studied many, many years ago in what was an RTC, you're still able to avail of those funds. Springboard is also a really good initiative, a government initiative that started back in 2011 to fund programs. When it started, it was aimed at people who were unemployed only, but now it'll fund people whether they're unemployed or in employment. If you're in employment at level 9, they will pay 90% of your fees. So that's a huge amount of your fees. If you're unemployed, they'll pay 100% of your fees. But they are all 1-year part-time programs. So to be a part-time program, there has to be less than 17 contact hours. So they're all 1-year part-time programs. But as you'll see, we talked about those certificate awards. So sometimes we have funded through Springboard programs that are 30 credits or 60 credits. Not that many full master's programs will go through Springboard because it would be a lot to do a master's in a year and be working, and have it considered a part-time program. But there are avenues to get the master's through Springboard, and there are level 9 programs funded through Springboard. We have made a submission last week to the HEA for programs to consider for funding this year, so they'll be funded from September onwards. They will be, not everything we submit will be funded. So we've submitted a list of 60 programs. We'll get confirmation around May time what will be funded, and then the applications will open on the HEA website. So this one is slightly different. If you want to avail of Springboard funding, you have to apply through the Springboard website for those programs. And if Springboard funding is available for the program you're interested in, that will be added to the website and on the web pages. So it'll be probably May time before we know what programs will be funded by Springboard, and it is areas where there are skills shortages as identified by the government. So we look at a lot of government reports when we are considering programs for submission to make sure that they're meeting those skills gaps. And so they're all 1-year part-time programs, and it can be a good way to go back into education, to sign up for a Springboard program, to study for your year and be able to build on that then maybe and go on and do your master's. Micro-credentials, Eamon mentioned them on the slide where he had kind of the building blocks and showing you different levels and credits. So some people, and we would find this with a lot of employers, they'll have a particular skills need. So I mentioned quality programs. So somebody might need a validation module, but they don't necessarily want to do the full program. You can maybe study just the element of it. So micro-credentials are short pieces of learning. They're shorter, they're like modules of a course. And so they're kind of short courses is another way really, I suppose, to describe them. They're pieces of learning, and maybe you have a need for a piece of learning as opposed to a full program, and that's where a micro-credential might suit you. It might also suit if you just have been out of education for a long time and you want to start back slowly and see, have you the time, like Eamon mentioned, the commitment, have you the time to do it? Does it suit you maybe to study in a particular format? So micro-credentials can be really useful to get you back into education, to have a particular piece of learning and to use that to upskill. They're becoming more popular. SkillNet, we work with, there are over 70 SkillNets and we work with quite a few of them. They tend to be focused on particular sectors, like we have a medtech SkillNet, there's a biopharmachem SkillNet, there's manufacturing SkillNets, there's next level SkillNet, which are more general, but we would work with quite a few of them to gain funding for programs. So if you're working for a particular company maybe and they're a SkillNet member, they can avail of a reduction, or you can avail of a reduction. It could be anywhere between 30 and 50% on your program fees. So SkillNet is another good opportunity to avail of a reduction of fees. So where SkillNet are funding programs, that information is also going to be on the webpage. So when you look at the webpage for a particular program that you're interested in, it could be the marine spatial planning program, for example, in Galway, and you go to that page, you'll find out at the fees, and you'll find out on it whether that's funded by a SkillNet, whether it's funded by Springboard. If there are funding opportunities, that information will be available for you on that particular web page. So we are always looking at SkillNets to see if there's additional opportunities. So do keep an eye, because it may not be on it now, but in another week or two, we may have been in a position to avail of funding and add that to the website. So that's SkillNet. DASB then is the Digital Academy for the Sustainable Built Environment. It has blended education really in areas like the construction, retrofit sectors. They would be the areas that DASB focuses on. So it's themes of energy efficiency, circular economy and digital skills. It's in partnership with ourselves and with the TU of the Shannon, along with industry partners like the Irish Green Building Council and Tipperary Energy Agency. So it's funded currently under HCI funding, but there are programs there in that whole built environment. A lot of them are micro-credentials as well. There you can get pieces of learning and upskill in particular areas, such as the retrofitting one. We have HSE, Centre for Nursing and Midwifery. They would fund people on our programs. The local authority, LASNTG, would fund people on quite a few of our programs as well. There's opportunities, within companies. If you want to speak to your company, I know we have different options in different companies. So some employers ask people to pay their fees up front, and when they finish the program, they pay them back. So other employers pay half of their fees, other employers pay the full fees. So, within your company or within your, whoever your employer is, maybe approach your HR manager and find out what the options are that they have for you. And we'll be able to work with them with regards to invoicing and payment plans, all of those things. We'll be able to work with them once you inform us of whatever option you have agreed with your employer. The application process is quite a straightforward process. You will see on each of the web pages. So if you go to a web page for your particular program of interest, you'll see an Apply Now button. We opened on the 18th of February for applications that are programs starting in September. As I said, some programs do have capacity limits on them, so it's important that you apply early. But the application process itself is quite straightforward. You find your program, you hit the Apply Now button, and you'll be asked for some personal information, name, address, the program you're interested in. If some programs require CVs, some programs will require other additional information up front. You might be asked for some of that. You will need to, for a level 9 masters, you will need to be able to provide proof of your previous qualifications. So your level 8 example, your scripts, you'll be asked for those just to determine your eligibility for entry to the program. Applications for international students, we have the ILEP courses, and again, you need to just make sure you check your eligibility criteria there for those. Does this course require a personal statement or interview? We have some programs that have interviews, I suppose, based on the nature of the program. They would have interviews, a lot kind of in the social care area would have interviews assigned to them as part of the application process. But the majority of programs, really, it is straightforward, filling in information that you would have at hand to start the application. Eamon mentioned RPL earlier, or RPEL is sometimes called it. So it's recognition of prior learning or recognition of prior experiential learning. And that's where you use the experience that you have from your work environment. May not be credited, it may be, you're working within a manufacturing facility, you're used to, various regulations without having a regulatory qualification. So we can look at your experience and we can see how it bridges that gap and meets those learning outcomes of your level 8. For example, if you have a level 7, don't have your level 8 and you want to apply for your level 9. So we can look at that experience to see how does it bridge that gap, have you the learning outcomes and the information that you need to progress onto that level 9. So RPL is a really useful tool for people. It gives you advanced entry onto programs. We have RPL coordinators on the different campuses that can help you with an RPL application. So if you're not sure about your eligibility criteria and you have a level 7, want to get onto your level 9 masters, then RPL would be the option, the route that you need to have a look at. So to kind of summarize and to finish up your pathway to your postgraduate qualification, choose the path that's right for you. So at the start, Eamon talked about online, blended, on campus, the different levels, whether you sign up for 1 year, the full masters, all the different options that were available. So there is something for everybody, as he said. We have 119 master programs, but when they're broken down, we have much more. So spend time thinking about what's right for you. What time have you to allocate to? Do you want to commit to 2 years? Would it suit you to study online, or would you prefer to come in on campus and meet people? Take all of those things into consideration, especially for programs like Springboard. Because if you start a Springboard program, decide it's not right for you and withdraw, and want to come back to do another Springboard program, it's a little bit more complex. We have to get providers to remove you off systems and things. So make sure when you commit to doing something that it's right for you and the right fit for you. And we have online student advisors on campuses that can help you if you have any questions with regard to that. We have course coordinators. Like, there's lots of people happy to help you and talk to you about the different options and what might be right for you. Research and consider all the study options that are available to you. There's a huge amount of information available for you on the website, but you can see the admissions email if you have any specific question you want to ask. Huge range of financial supports available. A lot of that information will be on the web pages, but we can help if you have any queries, and all of your experience and learning counts. So that's really important. People often don't consider their experience as relevant, and they think, well, I'm working in manufacturing, but I may not have the relevant experience. If you're working in manufacturing, you're used to, procedures, you're used to maybe things like non-conformance reports, you're used to risk assessments, you're used to following different processes, all of these things that you probably take for granted, and they are all really relevant and will help you with regards to your progression and progression pathways. So I think I've probably got a little bit over time, Grace, apologies, but
That's okay.
Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you so much, Jean. Really appreciate it. We had a couple of questions in the Q&A box. So the first one is just in around kind of international applicants. So what advice, Eamon, maybe would you have for any international applicants looking for information?
So for international applicants, you do have a level that you need to reach for English language proficiency, and that can be IELTS or Duolingo, and it varies depending on whether it's an undergraduate program or a postgraduate program. On those courses that are available to international students, there will be a link to contact international admissions, who'll be able to give you more information on that. And as part of that application process, you'd be requested to provide your IELTS documentation, if you like. I think from memory, I think, and Jean might correct me here, it's something like 6.5, I think, for a master's degree of proficiency in IELTS language, 120 in Duolingo perhaps, but I'm no expert there. You find information on our website there. And yeah, I mean, read through the atu.ie website as well about scholarship opportunities that might be available there from different countries.
And the eligibility criteria might include some of that information as well on the website. It'll talk about, proficiency in English and things. And we do have an international office too, that we have students that come through that office sometimes as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you so much. We have another question just in there from Frank. So Jean, I'll let you answer this one. When can I apply through Springboard website for funding?
Yeah, so Springboard, we have submitted the programs for consideration. We will hear back from the HEA probably around May time, and then there will be a launch. So what I would recommend, if you're interested in Springboard funding, is to go to the Springboard website and register your interest on there, because as soon as it launches, everybody will get a notification. We also have a register your interest on the ATU website, so you'll get notification from us as well. And you'll find out as soon as it launches. We haven't a specific date yet. It really does depend on the HEA and the new minister and when it'll launch. But I would say register your interest is really important. So as soon as it launches, you'll be able to get your application in and create an account on the Springboard platform, because there are only a defined number of places on every program that are funded.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I just come back in there, and Grace, you beat me to it, as well as putting in the link for our international page, which you've kindly put in there. I was just having a quick look at that, and the English language requirements are there. There's a whole section on it, so please check that out. All the information you need will be there.
Brilliant. We have another question in from Emmanuel. So I noticed a single AI course related to data analytics. Will there be more courses which will cover AI, its complexity as a technology? I'm a second year and I'm self-taught in AI. I would like to specialize in this because I'm working on writing and publishing my own research paper on AI prompt engineering. It's a very interesting question.
Yeah, and absolutely there will be, because it's ever evolving, the whole area of AI, and there's a huge amount of work happening within the university with regard to AI, so there will be programs coming on board all the time. You'll definitely see those, Emmanuel.
Yeah. I think you're seeing already a lot of modules appearing on different programs, so that are AI specialized. In fact, I think there was one on the Masters in Business Analytics from earlier, and some of the other programs have AI as part of them, rather than a specific AI program. But I'm sure you'll see some of those come on stream as well. Yeah. As Jean mentioned there. Yeah. Absolutely.
There is a new master's in development pending validation, which is applied AI applications. So if you are interested in that particular course, I would recommend staying on our mailing list. We have a register your interest page as well on atu.ie/masters. So do register your interest for any course updates, and you'll get notifications when those courses are available to apply for. We have another question from Kira. In the case of starting the course, when is the first payment required to be paid? I was looking at the Cyber Operations Masters. The apply button isn't allowing me to apply right now. Is there somebody I should contact?
Okay, so if you want to email me directly, Grace, I don't mind if you want to share my email address. That's no problem. We can check why that program isn't open. And in relation to the payments, so you can set up, if you're self-funded, you can set up installment plans and make arrangements for the dates that you make payments. We used to have a situation where we had people pay a deposit in advance. We don't do that anymore, so there's no deposit required, but there will be timelines for which you make your payments. And your fee is broken down. So if it's a 2-year program, you'll pay half in year 1 and the other half in year 2. You don't need to pay the 2 years up front.
I've put your email there in the chat box as well, so you can follow up then with Jean after. So hi, for the Masters Computing in DevOps on campus, are there recordings available after lectures?
Sorry, Eamon.
No, go ahead, Jean.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at that question there and having a quick check. I think the best thing to do there will be contact Jade Lyons. Her contact details are actually on the webpage for that program. I'm just going to put the direct link to that program there for Josh to pick up. He may have seen that already. Jade's contact email is on there. She's a lovely head of department there in computing who manages that program. I'm sure she'll be happy to answer your question.
Brilliant.
As people can appreciate, with 112 or 100 and whatever master's programs, Jean and myself can't possibly know the answers to all of them, and we look after some 300 odd more courses on top of the master's degrees, so we don't know everything about every program. But on as Jean mentioned, on each of the pages you'll find a contact person, an email address, be it admissions or oftentimes a head of department or a program chair or program coordinator or somebody, a lecturer, who get back to you on specific questions. So don't be stuck there. Please reach out, contact somebody, and we'll be sure to get back to you.
What I will do as well, when I'm emailing out the link to the recording of this session, what I'll do is I'll put in some useful links for people as well. So we have another question in here about any form of fund sponsorship for environmental health and safety. We have a great document, a fees and funding guide, which goes through all the different fees and funding options available to you. So I can send a link around to that as well. So hopefully that will help guide you with any funding of your master's. And then the last question is from Ellis. So is acceptance on masters dependent on past grade?
No. So as you said, we talked about RPL. So if you haven't a level 8, RPL can be considered for entry to your level 9. If you look again, the web pages will tell you the eligibility criteria. So it'll say, 2-1 or 2-2, but the specifics of grades might not be there, but it will say 2-1 or a 2-2 as a requirement, maybe it depends on the program on the web page.
Perfect. I see a question from John. Can Springboard Fund courses starting in September? So yes, I believe, Gina, all the courses will be starting in September 25
It will be all
this year?
September, yeah. So they previously had funded some programs in January. As of now, that's not going to happen. They will only be September starts.
Brilliant.
Whenever we find out what they are.
So I think that is the majority of the questions, but I will send around a link. If there is any further questions, you can email postgrad@atu.ie and we can follow up that way as well. So thank you, everybody. We have gone a little bit over, but no harm. But thank you so much for joining us all today, and thank you to Jean and Eamon for joining and for all the information you've shared.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Bye
Grace.
now.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.